Hey, welcome back in. How did this last week go?
It was pretty good.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
How's your wife doing and the
She's
grandkids?
doing really good.
Good.
We just had like a little family day this past weekend.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
I was feeling a little better, so
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know your oldest grandkid is still in school. Do they have spring break coming up?
I believe so. I
Okay.
think it's this next week.
Yeah, it's so silly
It's coming
because
around the
it's like
corner.
spring break, but it's still snowing outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
were
it's
able to.
crazy to think.
Yeah, you're able to get here okay too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so the session's gonna be a little bit different than the last session, just because last time I was like asking you more questions about like your personal history and your health and things like that. And so we're gonna kind of skip through all of those. And one thing I forgot to do last time because we kind of ran out of time was to go over some of the tribal benefits, because I know you said you hadn't really taken advantage of them or knew about them a whole lot. And so there's quite a few programs that you could definitely take advantage of. So let me see here. I have a whole list of them. So there is a Nez Perce Financial Assistant Program, and they help with paying for things like home energy, and then as well as things like water for your house. And then again, this is like through tribal donations and contributions, and then especially because you and your wife, your age range, that only like improves the kind of benefits that you guys would get. So that's cool. And then, like I said, there's a senior citizen program which promotes health and well-being of older individuals, and it looks to help you guys gain access towards resources for nutrition, disease prevention, and other promotional services. It also helps to reduce hunger and food insecurities. And so I know you said that you kind of rely on your neighbor to drive you to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And so I think this program specifically would be a great way to get food delivered to your house. And this program does have a director and a program assistant. And so on this website where I found all this stuff, I think that would be a great person to contact to see if you could potentially get going on this program.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Did you have it would be really nice if you could like print it out for me.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Put in like the links to the websites and also the contact info.
Yeah, no, I can absolutely do that. And so there's even a couple more I have here. So there's a USDA food and nutrition service, and this is where food distribution programs on reservations. It's a federal program, which is really cool. And so it's designed to promote general welfare and safeguard to help just health and well-being. Just because I know sometimes, I know you don't live on the reservation, but just in more secluded areas, it is more difficult to have access to food. And so I think that would help with that a lot.
Yeah.
And then I know on the reservation specifically, there are 2 distribution locations, which is really cool. And so if you're able to go to one that's the closest, that would be perfect. And then there also is an adult protection program, and the main goal of this program is to maximize the resources that are available to help just elders in the tribe, because I'm sure you know elders have a lot of respect, and so I think they want to make sure that you guys are staying healthy and are able to continue to live independently in your home. And so again, this program strives to reach out to isolated elders and connect them with safety and wellness resources. And what's also cool about this program specifically is that it does hold monthly meetings with different other tribal programs. So that's pretty cool. Okay, and then I also wanted to talk about just some rights you have as a tribal member. And so I know you said that you haven't been hunting or fishing in a while, but if you ever get back to that, I just wanted to remind you that because you are Native, you do not need to worry about A, getting a hunting license, or B, like, oh, is it duck season? Is it, things like that. And so you don't have to worry about if something is in season or not. You can go and kind of do whatever you want. And same with fishing, so that's pretty cool. Okay, are there any questions with that kind of stuff?
No, but it would be great, like
Yeah.
I was saying, to get a handout for it, just
Mhm.
because it's a lot of information. And
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah, that was a
remember
lot.
what each program does, but that sounds great.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And then I know we touched on chair exercises, but I didn't exactly go over a whole lot. And so I wanted to kind of talk about those with you. And so, again, you can do these sitting in the chair or standing and kind of holding behind the chair for balance. And it can be as simple as like doing leg lifts, or if you're even sitting in the chair, like lifting your knees up. And so things like that would be great to do. And again, it's such simple exercise that you don't need to worry about having proper equipment and things like that. And so if that's just clarification there. And then I wanted to review your goals, and I realized I didn't even explain to you the way I set up goals. And so the way we do goals here, they're called SMART goals. And so what that is the S in SMART is going to stand for specific, and so a very like adding vegetables, like that's a very specific goal. And then measurable, and so that like 2-3 times a week thing we talked about, that's the measurable component to it. And then the A of the SMART acronym is just agreed to. So again, that's why I kind of led you to create your own goals as opposed to me like telling you to do something, because you're more likely to do it if you're the one to come up with the goal. And then realistic is the last component to that. And so what's important to remember when making goals is to not just go crazy and be like, yep, I'm gonna work out every day, I'm gonna eat perfect every day, because that's not sustainable, and so it's likely not gonna last. And so that's the component to that. And then just to kind of remind you of the goals we made last week, we had adding in a small breakfast before coffee 2-3 times a week, and then we were going to print something out to put on the fridge or have your wife remind you. And then we also had doing chair exercises for 10 to 15 minutes 2 times a week. And then our last goal was walking 2 times a week for your intermittent claudication for at least 15 minutes. And so I just kind of wanted to ask you how those goals were going.
So I have been trying to get in a little breakfast in before the coffee that we talked about.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that. As far as the chair exercises that we kind of talked about, I didn't really know what to do, so I wanted to wait for the session.
Yeah.
Because I know that you were going to talk a little bit more about the exercises that I could do on there. I just didn't want to just come up with
That's completely understandable.
But I have been trying to do kind of that walk, rest, walk kind of thing to address the intermittent claudication. So I have been doing that, but I think 15 minutes was too much to start.
Okay.
So would it be possible to change that to like 10 minutes?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then work towards that. And so a question I had for you was, what would happen if I'm not able to reach those goals that I set by the time that I said that I would?
So it's not that big of a deal. I don't want you to beat yourself up about it, again, because we're trying to make goals that work for you, and so if it's not working for you, then we need to move on to something else or adjust. And if you need to drop the time down to make it more reasonable for you to actually be able to do them, then that's completely fine. That just means our starting point needs to be adjusted. And so I think that it's great that you've kind of reflected on how those goals are making you feel and if you're able to do them or not. So that's completely something that we can change.
Well, thank you. That brings me some comfort.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And so as far as chair exercises, I can program something for you to take home because again, so like sitting in a chair, you can do like lift your knees up and you can do like 10 on each side and then rest and do it again and do like 2-3 sets of 10, and then you can even straighten your leg and kind of bring your foot up and do a leg lift there. And then again, how we talked about, like, if you need to do body weight, we can do body weight exercises, or if you're feeling like you can add more weighted things and using household items. So like, again, like a can of soup to curl or to do like a shoulder press with. It's something light enough that you can hold. Plus, if it's something you're grabbing in the kitchen, it's helping you familiarize yourself with having to lift those things. That way you're not feeling as fatigued doing household items. And then to even progress, again, you could use like a jug of milk, and again, like lifting out a jug of milk, things like that. So that's kind of where we're at with chair exercise, and I think, which is also a great way to start incorporating exercise throughout your routine.
Yeah.
Did you have any other questions with that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, got it. So based on your goals last week, was there anything else you wanted to set, or did you just want to kind of tweak the goals you had?
I think for the incorporating like the small breakfast before coffee,
Yeah.
I think that one is, I feel like it's realistic, so
Okay.
I want to keep that and continue to work towards that goal.
Okay.
Can you remind me how many times per week we do
Yeah,
that?
so we said adding in a small breakfast before coffee 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay, yeah, I think I'd be able to scratch that too and be able to do it.
Do 3? Perfect. I love that goal. 3 times a week. That's great. It's small enough progress that it's more manageable, but I think 3 times a week would make a big difference. It's like upping your calorie intake. So that's a good one, I think.
And then another one we had was the chair exercises.
Yeah, the
I
second
believe.
goal we set was doing chair exercises 10 to 15 minutes 2 times a week.
Okay. I think I could do at least 10 minutes. And about two to 3 times per week, so we'll kind of keep that
Okay,
frequency the same.
perfect. Okay, and then for your intermittent claudication, you mentioned the 15 minutes was almost too much time.
Yeah.
And so
I think,
dropping that time down.
yeah, to 10.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would like, what was the frequency of it again? Was it 2 to 3
It was
times
2 times a week for 15 minutes. Yes.
I think that I could do 3.
Okay.
Knowing that I could do less time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would kind of lessen the stress of doing it.
Yeah, and that would make
like,
it a little more manageable too.
Yeah, and realistic for me and getting that movement in. So yeah, I think I could do those 3 days.
Perfect. I like that. Okay. So we're increasing our breakfast goal. So we're going to add in breakfast before coffee 3 times a week. That one's good there. There's been no trouble so far.
No.
Okay, good. And then our second goal, doing 10 minutes of chair exercises 2 to 3 times a week, now that you kind of understand a little bit more what those are like. And then walking for your intermittent claudication 3 times a week for 10 minutes. So we're just dropping that time down to make it a little more manageable. Perfect. So I'm glad we got those set. And I know last week when we talked about, I threw a lot of education at you. I talked about diabetes, talked about high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Did you incorporate anything we talked about? If not, it's okay.
It was a lot of information.
Yeah, it was a lot.
But I really liked how you talked about the diabetes plate method.
Yeah.
So I would really like to kind of making my meals and my snacks look like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that'll be really good, and having you there to guide me on how that may look like. But other than that, no, I have not.
Okay. No, that's completely fine.
But yeah, I have been incorporating those the breakfast in the beginning of the day before my coffee. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Before I forget, what does that breakfast look like? Like, what are you having?
I've just been having some toasted butter.
Okay.
Sometimes, or recently since we last talked, I have been cutting half an apple and eating
Ooh.
that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Then that's for breakfast.
Yes, that's for breakfast.
I like the apple choice too because it also has the fiber we were talking about. So that's gonna just help with your overall health as well as kind of bringing that cholesterol level down. So that's good. I like that you're having that. And then have you noticed how have you felt after having the breakfast? Is it like too much food? Does it feel like a chore, or have you kind of enjoyed it?
No, I've actually been having it hasn't been challenging at all.
Okay.
Incorporating that, and I feel like the amount that I've been eating, just like one slice of toast and like a pat of butter and the half apple, I think I've been reaching like a good fullness. Like,
Yeah.
It's not like too much.
Yeah,
unpleasant
that you're
at
like
all.
feeling nauseous about
So
afterwards.
I feel
Yeah.
like, that was it's been working really good, and I've also been noticing some changes in my energy levels. So still not fully 100%.
Yeah.
But I feel like the food has been giving me a lot more energy than I usually experience.
Yeah, it's interesting how like the smallest changes can you notice a difference. And so yeah, I'm not surprised that you're feeling a little more energetic if you're incorporating that carb. Those will give you energies, but then also just the micronutrients in the apple. That's a good one. Okay. And did you have any questions about anything we've gone over?
Not at the moment, but I'll let you know if I
Okay.
do
Perfect.
have any.
Okay. Oh, and then also, before I forget about your goals,
Yes.
did you have any trouble remembering to do them? I know we talked about like potentially printing something out or having your wife remind you. Has that been okay so far?
That actually, my wife has been really good at reminding
Oh,
me.
perfect.
But I think the physical the printouts would be really good. To
Yeah,
print,
no, I
just as
can.
an extra
Yeah.
Reminder.
Okay. Good to know that she's been on top of it. Because, yeah, that can.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so in the session, it was pretty brief, but we just kind of retouched over some of the stuff we talked about last week, and then I also covered a fair amount of potential resources you could use through the tribe. They have a lot of good ones there with both food assistance and financial assistance, and then also just kind of checking in and making sure that you're getting what you need. So that's cool there. And again, I can give you those resources later. And then we went over some of the chair exercises, and so now because of that, you'll be able to incorporate into that as part of your goals. And then we went over your goals, and then upped the breakfast, and then reduced the walking time, but increased the amount of days.
Yes.
So that's cool there. If you don't have any more questions for me, that is all I have for us until I see you next time.
I did have a few questions on those financial assistance programs.
Yeah.
Would you be able to kind of do a little brief rundown on those again?
Yeah.
I know that you're giving me a little handout of
Yeah.
it, but it would be,
Yes, there's a couple of them. So
or just
there.
kind of like the highs.
Yeah, and so I think this top one I have on my list here is the Nez Perce Financial Assistance Program. And again, so it helps with energy assistance as well as like water assistance and just general financial assistance. And I think the pool of money for this is maybe a little bit bigger than some of the other resources that I mentioned. And so again, it's through like donations, contributions, elderly assistance, as well as it was something I didn't mention. They also help with medical appointment travel. So I know you don't drive, and so
Yes.
maybe if you were to take advantage of this program,
Yes.
you would be able to have a little bit more freedom and not have to rely on like your neighbor to get places. And so this, I think, is a really good one.
Do you
And
know if I
then-
would be like eligible for that, or what's kind of the process look like, or would you?
Yeah,
Like,
I believe you would be eligible,
just, okay.
just based on your situation, and then also your age. I think
Okay.
also helps a lot because, like I was mentioning, I think just tribes, they put a lot of respect on their elders, and so they want to take
Yeah.
care of them the best they can.
Mhm.
Okay, and there was another one I had in here that I really liked. Okay, it's the Adult Protection Program.
Okay.
This was the last one I went over,
Mhm.
but again, it strives to reach out to isolated elders, and so this just, however that is, I'm not super familiar with the program, but their main goal is to keep you safe and get you connected with all the possible resources. And then again, what I like about this program is that it holds monthly meetings with different tribal programs, and so I think they're always going to be connected with all the other resources, and so it's never going to be like, oh, I'm not taking advantage of these other two that I could be available to me. So I like that one a lot, and I think you could benefit from these a lot too. Okay, any questions with that?
No, I think
Okay.
you did a really good job of
Perfect.
kind of summarizing that.
Yeah, perfect. Well, if there's nothing else, then I will see you later, and the next time we meet, we'll kind of reevaluate, and then, yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.